No pain at all. Papa, I have received my instant healing.
So I've had this joint pain for over 3 months now. And after the NSPPD Ghana conference, I keyed into people's testimonies and then I heightened my faith. The joint pain disappeared. I found it difficult descending and ascending the stairs, but now I can descend freely and ascend freely.
During the Ghana prayer conference, I received my healing after my delivery. I had this serious cough that sometimes it takes my breath away, that I will fall on the floor and I'll be coughing. I watched the NSPPD Ghana conference from beginning to the end. I said, God, I'm going to receive my healing. Lo and behold, I no longer cough. I thank God. Pastor Jerry, I thank God for the grace upon your life.
I just want to thank God for healing me from an excruciating pain on the left side of my tummy, lower belly. Been having this pain for some time now. Pain was too much. On the day of that Ghana conference, I was scheduled to work, but before I left home, I went with my charger and I went with an AirPod because I don't want anything to stop me from receiving my healing. So I was so ready. I connected online. Ever since, the pain has disappeared, like completely. Today makes it 7 days now and I've not felt any pain.
What God cannot do does not exist. I am recording this testimony from the United States. Anytime Pastor Jerry will declare or pray for women who were desirous to get married, I'll key in, and I was believing God for a miracle. That year, 2022, I met my husband. To the glory of God, we got married April 2023. Fast forward to 2023, in December, I started feeling very sick. After a series of investigations, it turned out I had taken in, I did not even know that I was pregnant, and I had an ectopic pregnancy. I had to get surgery immediately to save my life. And according to my husband, he was called back into the theater to give a consent again so they could take out my ovary and my tube on the right side. But the more reason why they had requested his presence was the fact that my ovary on the left side was not there. And I know that I had a PCOS and a ruptured ovarian cystectomy back years back. When they opened me up, there was no ovary. So if they go ahead and take out the ovary and the tube that is ruptured due to the ectopic, it means essentially I only would have one tube left and there will be no ovaries to help me if ever I want to have children. So he had to come and give his consent. So he did, and anytime Pastor Jerry would say, women desirous of their children, receive your twins, receive your triplets.
This is a special day for women who want to carry their babies. This is a special day for couples that want to hear the cry of a baby in their house. The God of the fire altar, the God of the fire altar, is there anything too hard for the Lord? On your house, on the sound of your amen, carry your babies. Twins, triplets, quadruplets, receive it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Take all of it.
I'll key in. Pastor Jerry would say, dress like your miracle. I'll stuff my belly with clothes. I'll put on big outfit and stuff my belly with big clothes to mimic that of a pregnant woman. And anytime he will say what you want the Lord to do for you, place it beside your device. So I went to print out twin babies, either a boy and a girl, 2 boys or 2 girls. I printed them all, and I will come and pray with it. And I remember Pastor Jerry saying that he had told God that whatever gift he had for him for his birthday, he wants God to give it to us. So I keyed in and I said, God, I want a house and I want children, and I do not want one, but I want twins. After Pastor Jerry's birthday, I started feeling really sick. So one day from his appointment, I went to pick up a test strip. I was even doubting how effective it would be because it looked like it wasn't And I went to test. Lo and behold, Pastor Jerry, it was 2 lines. That was when he told me the details of what happened in the theater when I had the ectopic pregnancy in 2023. When he came in to give his consent to have my ovary and my tube taken out that day, and they showed him what a good tube looked like and a bad tube looked like. On the other side, I think on my left side, my ovary was not there. They searched and searched, it was nowhere to be found. And the right side, both tube and ovaries were damaged, so they had to take it out. So he had to sign for them to take it out, and to also sign that they educated him, or they told him that I cannot have babies anymore unless somebody donates an egg to me, and that would be via IVF. That's why he was pushing that line. I said, hey, so that was why he was like pushing that line. But he exercised some faith that day when the surgeon told him, I'm sorry, sir, but your wife will not be able to carry her own children, and if she wants to carry children, she would have to go through the route of IVF and an egg donor. And he said he looked at him after signing the consent and told him to go ahead and do his job that will save my life. He knows I'll make my own babies. Pastor Jerry, I keyed into what you declared, that whatever we are saving money for, God will give it to us for free. And I wanted to see him in December of 2024. And Roy had plans of having me carry children after your birthdays. Our first scan, initially they had seen 2 heartbeats, 2 sacs. So, which means it was twin pregnancy. We were scheduled for another scan in the following 2 weeks. So when we went for that scan, they could only find 1 sac. The OBGYN explained that it could be disintegrating fibroid, because I've also been battling with fibroids, or a disappearing twin. And I was like, which one is disappearing twin? I am not accepting that. So when we left that appointment, I told my husband, this negative news has got to stop. Next time we come back, whatever they saw before, they will not see again. I will have my twins. 2 weeks later, we went for another scan. But that morning, Pastor Jerry had declared that whatever they saw before, they will not see again.
Go back and check in the hospital. What they saw before, they will not see it again.
And we went in for the scan. When I laid down to get that scan, I closed my eyes. I just told Roy, do your thing. What woke me up was the surgeon was actually singing praises to God. So when I opened my eyes, she gave me the 2 sign. And my husband started laughing, and we were all happy. And she said, it's 2 strong heartbeats. Guess what? The day that I found out that we were expecting twins, that same evening, the developer called and had accepted our offer and said we should go ahead and make payment. That also is one of our testimonies. We got a brand new house, all to the glory of Roy. On the March 24th, we welcomed our beautiful baby girls, and to the glory of God, we are 7 months old, and we are just here to thank Roy, the God that sees us, that through it all, he was with us, he saw us. We have returned like one of the 10 lepers to say, thank you, Roy. What God cannot do does not exist. Thank you so much, Pastor Jerry, for raising a generation that can actually pray and trust that God is good and God actually is listening to their prayers. Thank you so much. I join the millions and millions across the world to say, Pastor Jerry, may the oil on your head not even never run dry, never lose its source.
My name is Ebiama. I'm doing this testimony from Sweden. Last week of November 2024, we started noticing changes on my 7-year-old daughter. Her eyes were crossed. She would complain of dizziness and stomach ache after each meal, an intense headache that wouldn't go away despite giving her medication. Then we decided to take her to emergency, where they ran some tests. They couldn't find anything disturbing apart from the crossed eyes and the balance issue. Then we were referred to a specialized optic clinic where they carried out some checkups. Then they found something pressuring her retina. We were referred immediately that same day to another bigger specialized children hospital. When we got there, they already got the message from the optic center that they found some pressure on her retina. That same day, they did an emergency scan where they found out that it was a tumor that was blocking the fluid way that was supposed to pass fluid to her spinal cord. That was the reason why she was having headache. Then they decided to operate on her to drain out the fluid in her brain. They did a lumbar puncture from her spinal cord for them to do some tests to know if the tumor had spread or not. They planned the operation, which was supposed to take place on the 19th. Then on the 18th, they called us for a meeting and they broke the news to us that it was a real aggressive brain tumor. The next day, they operated on her. It took 7 hours. Everything went well. But before the operation, the surgeon told us that the place where the tumor is located is a very delicate place. If any complication, it could cause her disability. I said a lie. Nothing will go wrong, according to Pastor Jerry. Nothing will go wrong. After the operation, the next day, they took her for a scan. Scan results came back. Everything was taken off. Nothing was left in that particular spot where the tumor was. Everything was taken off. Clean, according to the team, because they cooperated with other doctors from other countries. They had a conference where they discussed about this kind of a tumor she was having. They wanted to let her go after the operation without having any other treatments, but the other doctors from other countries, they said no. Such kind of tumor is a very tricky one that can be lying silently in the fluid in her spinal cord. So they had to treat her with another tougher treatment that can wipe it away. Then they decided to do craniospinal therapy, which is radiation, for 6 weeks. Then they decided to give her adjuvant therapy, 4 sections with a tough medications, followed up by scan, which she started in the month of April. After the 3rd treatment, they did a scan. Then they discovered in the scan, it showed that it showed something strange in her brain stem. They were worried. They decided to wait. They gave us the news, but they decided to wait for her to finish the 4th treatment for them to know actually if it is a reoccurrence or maybe something else. After the 4th treatment, which was July month, they discovered that the same thing they found in the brainstem is in her cerebellar peduncle. That was when the anxiety started among them. They started planning something else immediately. What else could they do? Because it looks as if it was a relapse. They spoke with the international doctors. Those ones, they decided, okay, what we'll do is that we have to plan another tougher treatment, which is MMM. Is a kind of treatment whereby they implant a device under her head where they can be giving her medicine directly to her central nerve system and through the port she was having on her chest and through medication. Then they told us it's going to take another 1 year again. I said no, I said a lie, not when I'm on the altar of fire. Another 1 year again for treatment? No. After we got the news, which was on the 16th of July, on the 17th night, I had a dream. Pastor Jerry, the environment was like an hospital. Pastor Jerry was praying for my daughter and 2 other children. And Pastor Jerry came close to me, took the result, looked at it, he smiled. He said, there is nothing here. Let them go back and check. What they saw before, they will not see it again. I woke up, I clung to that word. I said, yes, as long as it's Papa that had appeared in my dream and gave me this encouragement, then it means what they saw is not what they were thinking. But how can I convince an oncologist for them to redo a scan they just did 3 days ago? It will make no sense. So we were discharged. 4 days later, my daughter fell sick, very ill that they thought it was something else. On a Sunday, I can't remember the actual Sunday of which week of it was. A woman testified how they told her that tumor was back. She did 7 days prayer and fasting with Oh Lord, show me mercy. She saw each report. She went back and did her scan. It came back negative. Something inside me said, why can't you do the same thing? Then I decided to do it for 5 days. During that period, Pastor Jerry kept praying for all kind of a brain tumor.
Brain tumor. Brain tumor. If you are the one, put it on the live stream. The devil is alive. I announce, let it be reversed.
I wasn't scared because I see people who testify. Why won't I testify? On the 5th day, one of the doctors taking care of my daughter came to me. He said that you look too worried. Don't worry, everything will be fine. Deep inside me, I'm like, it's like you don't understand what is going on. Then he was the one who came up with the idea. He told me, you know what? I have been thinking about this whole situation of them starting another treatment. What I will do is I will talk to the oncologist. I will ask them to redo the scan. Hey, inside me, I felt this spirit like, God, you heard my cry. Is this how you walk? He asked me, is it okay for you? I said, yes, it is very, very okay. They did the scan. The scan came back on the 10th. That was when they broke the news that they would have another meeting again with the international doctors for them to decide what they would do. They called us and told us that they decided to wait with the treatment and they monitor her for 2 months, which means we have to wait for 2 months for them to redo another scan to see if what they saw is a relapse or not. On the 15th of October, they called her for the first scan, which is an MRI scan. On the 21st, they booked us for another one called a nuclear met PET, if I'm not mistaken. Any result they get from that scan, that would give them the whole picture of everything. Because they have to inject her with something called methionine. This methionine will lighten up every part of her body and her brain if there's any abnormal activity. They did the scan. Then on Friday, we went to talk to the oncologist. The first thing he said was, congratulations, it's not a relapse. Everything had disappeared. There is nothing there. Hey, I couldn't shout. Me and my family couldn't shout. We were like, okay, so what is it now? What do you mean? What do you mean? He said that there is no more treatment. She's free. Hey! Say God. Now you do this one. So which means, assuming Pastor Jerry did not come into my dream, we don't have that courage to talk to the doctor. God, I thank you. God, I thank you. Pastor Jerry, may the oil on your head never run dry. You have done a lot for us. You have made me believe that miracle is real. Because sometimes I do doubt, but with this my own, Papa, may God bless you.